Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing, sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today again for this episode of Her Version. We have had over 400 women grace the stage of the Her Version platform. Yes. For those of you that are already jumping on live, thank you so much. If you could share this video wherever you are watching us so we can get more eyes and more ears on this awesome content we're about to share today. If you are catching us on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you are at so we can see you and share some love with you. But this is the Her Version platform. It is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. So today I'm speaking with an amazing woman named Yvonne Heimann. Yvonne is a force to be reckoned with. Yes. When her husband died, she was determined to not only resume her passion for building bulletproof businesses, but also to make sure that those who go through something similar can find the same solace and excitement in entrepreneurship that she does. She wants everyone who goes through a life-changing challenge to know they can come out on top too, even if it takes time. Her work is driven by a vision of a world where digital entrepreneurs not only make a living doing what they are passionate about, but thrive and wear their passions as badges of honor. Yes, a world where no one is ever faced with the decision of having to put business and making money over family and loved ones. This is Yvonne's mission. So excited to have you here, lady.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Storytelling. Don't I have a few of those?
Yes, we're excited. We're excited to hear. So listen, you know, and I both know, podcasting, right? Podcasting, there's just so many different realms that we can go. And one of my favorite is just hearing people's stories. When we're at the grocery store, when we're at Starbucks, there's just people everywhere. And there's so many times you meet people, it looks like they have all their shit together. It looks like,
you don't.
Nobody
does.
Be them. And when you really sit down with some of these people, you recognize that they've been through some stuff to get to where they are now. And that's what I like to really showcase on this podcast is, hey, Yvonne's got all her shit together. She's doing stuff. She's making things happen. She's moving and grooving. But there's a story, there's a journey that you've been through or are going through. And it's important for people to recognize that just because they're in the darkness, just because they're in something right now, doesn't mean that they can't still strive to be the person they want to be, strive towards that business or passion or side hustle or, desires that they have, that they can still have all those things.
And believe me, I don't think anybody of us has their shit together. It's been interesting because this is actually also happening behind the scenes right now, where I'm getting the feedback of, oh my God, Evie, you're doing all the things. You're publishing a book, doing events with ClickUp, doing all the things. You totally got your shit together. I'm like, no. But you look so strong. Yeah. And then I'm sitting in the evening on my couch, browsing through social media and be like, oh my God, look what they're doing. And look what they're doing. And they're having more followers and they're having more engagement. And I go down the spiral of who the hell am I to make any kind of impact? Believe me, we all go through this. It doesn't matter how big or fancy or we look like having our shit together. All of us have something hiding in the closet that makes us feel insecure.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you do about it?
Yeah.
Do I have days where I go down the spiral and where I just feel like curling up in the corner, cry and leave me all alone? Yeah, my introvert is coming out on those days. But it matters what you do the next day.
Yeah.
Go take your time. Go wallow, go bitch at somebody that can just listen to you and just get it off your chest. Go have those days.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you do after?
Exactly.
Are you going to push yourself? Are you going to do the uncomfortable thing? I'm in a coaching session right now where I'm like, why the hell am I not just doing this? Why am I sitting here for weeks on end and not taking the action when I know what the issue is? Digging into it and then just fucking do it. Just make that step. Just do.
Yeah.
That's what the difference is of having your shit together, having not your shit together. The only thing that we do when we have our shit together is we take the next step, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. 100. That's all it is. It's all the same. It's just those that take action and those that don't.
Yep.
What makes you an action taker? Where'd you get that from?
Oh,
Have you always been that way?
Actually, looking back, yeah. Yes, I always had. I can't stand people that are victims. So again, as I said, take your time. Sometimes we need to sit in things. When I say victims, it's what I mean by that is we always have a choice. That choice might take a day, that choice might take a month, that choice might take a year. Girl, I've been in an abusive relationship. I know sometimes we get stuck in that rut. The question is, for me, victims are when we do not take any action, even if it's the smallest. We keep complaining, but we are not doing anything about it. So yes, looking back, I've always been an action taker. Did it take me a couple of years to get out of my last narcissistic relationship before I realized what's happening and actually taking actions? Yes. But looking back, even without planning on it, I kept taking little steps to put myself in a position to get out of it.
Yeah.
So in school, I had issues with teachers, and I see me taking little steps to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've always been an action taker on different levels. Sometimes it's a big action, sometimes it's a little action. I cannot be stuck in something I cannot stand. Again, doesn't mean I don't bitch, doesn't mean I don't end up in a day or two of complaining and just wallowing in that emotion. We need that too. Mm-hmm. But in the big picture, yes, change what you don't like. And I think the big wake-up call, because we get into our everyday rut, I'm guilty of that too, where it's like, I should be grateful for everything. It doesn't always happen that way. Mm-hmm. But I think the big wake-up call of just how short life is was when my husband passed away. He got diagnosed with cancer in, I need to say a lie, 2012, I think. He did pass away in 2014. And just with his energy and his love of life, I always used to say, he's going to pull a Pete again. We go through treatment, he's going to be fine. Yeah, he wasn't. Wow. So looking at it, he even coached me through those 2 years of cancer, of me being ready for the after. Looking back, I didn't see it when I was in it. But it really opens your eyes to, he wasn't that old. Yeah, he was 20 years older than me, but at that point, that put him in his 50s. That's not an age. And it's like, why the hell are we staying stuck in situations, in relationships, in a life that we're not happy with? Yeah. And the only thing that keeps us back is us. Am I still dealing with limiting beliefs? Oh, hell yeah. Do I still have money blocks? Oh my God, way too many of those. But I keep working on it. I keep realizing of, okay, I got into my everyday rut again. I just took everything for granted and I started complaining about stuff. Guess what? I'm still 5 feet above ground.
Yeah.
At least somewhere right here, 5'4". What the hell am I doing? I'm not happy about this. Cool, then goddamn change it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I would say that is the big wake up call, and I literally just got a reminder of that again with a dear friend of his just passing away with a heart attack too, where it's like, you never know what's going to happen. Am I feeling really good right now at 40? And before 40, I'll take this, right?
Yeah.
But he was healthy. He was eating healthy. He was working out. He did all the right things.
Wow.
So what you going to do with that?
Wow. I know that you moved in 2019, shortly after. What made you do that?
So I hate that phrase, but it's so goddamn true. Maybe that's why I hate it. Everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Pete had, my late husband, he had coached me through the time to be fine after. So after he passed away, end of 2014, I took care of a couple of things. I got my feedback, and I started dating relatively soon after that. There is a piece in there where it's like, okay, I spent 2 years to take care of him. It's my turn now. I get to live. I get to have fun. Got into a relationship, a lot of fun, a lot of great experiences. Towards the end of that, realizing that's not a healthy relationship. I was taking on his insecurities, which then also started showing up in somewhat of a narcissistic behavior, where I'm like, this is not healthy. Nothing where it's like, there's relationships out there that have ended up way worse than what I was in. But again, it's just, it was not healthy for me. I was keeping myself down. My limiting beliefs went skyrocket, turned me into an anxious attachment style. It's like if somebody is like, oh, I don't have time, I'm like, ah. I become all anxious. I see the worst in situations when people are just busy with their life.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that the breakup in the end was not nice. His insecurities again came out, and like, I'm done. Any of us females know by the time we say, I'm done, we pretty much already worked through all of that, right? And with that, I always loved San Diego. I had visited San Diego probably like 2 years before that. I've always been talking about, I feel home here. I do have a lot of friends here. It's the weather I want. Snow is overrated. I had way too much of that in Germany. And at that point, it was, first of all, it was an emotional reaction of, that's where I want to live. That's where I feel home. But it was also a logical reaction. I was looking at the apartment that I used to live in before we had moved in together, and it was $100 cheaper than what I moved into here in San Diego initially. And I'm like, why am I staying in Sacramento for $100 less a month when I can be in San Diego? How is that a problem? So yeah, right at the beginning, November 2nd is when I moved in. Packed a U-Haul, a friend of mine took my car. We drove down here from Sacramento in 2 days, and the rest is history. Thank God, considering the 2 years that came after that. Seems like I had a perfect timing moving to San Diego, because we didn't really have a lot of limitations throughout COVID here in San Diego. And I still drive down the road, watch the sunsets, and I'm like, I fucking live here now. I did this, even when my ex told me it's way too expensive.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? We're in Florida, which is really humid here, but we do that here. You know, we're from the Midwest, like Chicago, Minnesota area. And we'll be outside and we'll be like, we live here. Like, we live where people vacation. just hang out here. It's amazing.
It's like, I look at my calendar, I completely spaced out that social media marketing world is happening. I am really active in that whole social media manager scene and all of those content creators. And suddenly my Facebook is just dinging. Hey, I'm in town. Hey, I'm in town. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Social media marketing world is happening. Everybody's coming to visit me. Where are we having coffee? What are we having for dinner? What parties are happening? Everybody is coming here. I don't even have to fly in. So yeah,
I want to ask, from this pit, no one gets married thinking that it's going to come to a halt so quickly, or at such a young age. I guess 50 is a young age. But this happens. This happens to a lot of women out there where they're going down a road and then there's a pivot. There's something that they just were not expecting in the form of a death. What were, the few steps that you took to really start to heal, to really get back on your feet, to really just become whole again? Were you doing anything, physically, mentally, emotionally, reading, going? What were you doing to kind of get back in the rhythm?
Interestingly, a lot of that didn't happen after Pete passed away. It more happened after moving to San Diego.
Ooh, okay.
So looking back, when Pete passed away, it was a complete start from zero. Is there grief? Yes. Anybody that has experienced grief, it's never over. It's just less, and suddenly you smell a scent, you hear music, and that grief hits again. So was there grief healing? Definitely. Now, I was, again, one of the lucky ones. Pete had coached me through it. There is no open question. And seriously, for anybody out there that wants their loved ones to be as good as they can be after your passing, because we all know it's going to happen, do not leave questions open. That was one of the luxuries and the privilege I had after him passing. I knew he wanted to be cremated. I knew he didn't want to have a ceremony. He just wanted to have a celebration of life, which we actually did while he was still alive. Had fun with that. Yeah, we have a weird sense of humor. So I did not have any questions on how to react when this was actually happening and right after. I knew he wanted me to date again. I knew he wanted me to live. There was no questions open. Do not resuscitate, all of those stuff that a lot of people don't really want to talk about because, I don't know, it's calling us to, it's not. You are giving your loved ones this safety and the privilege of knowing what you want.
Yeah.
Know that I have that soapbox done. I was doing fairly well. Yes. Was I dealing with grief and figuring it out? And I'm sorry, 5 stages of grief is bullshit. They all go crazy all over the place. It's just emotions. I was doing okay. I had more to do in that season of my life of rebuilding financially and physically, where there was no life insurance. He had lost the house. Luckily, our landlord let us stay. We had a lot of local support, which is why I'm like, I want women to be able to build a business that supports them. So if you ever, for whatever reason, end up in a situation like I was, you don't have to rely on the town rallying for you so you can buy groceries.
Yeah.
So with that, for me, it was building up again, bringing my clients back, building up my business again, because I couldn't support them. I had a couple that stuck around, knowing we don't have a fixed timeline. But other than that, I had to drop everything because it was one doctor's appointment after the other.
Yeah.
Now, my big personal growth, my big realization, my finding myself again, happened after my last relationship, after moving to San Diego. When I moved here, I made that conscious decision. I'm not going to date. I got a nice drawer with a whole bunch of batteries right next to my bed. That's going to take care of that. Everything else is me.
Yeah.
What do I want? What do I love? Who am I? Because I am I'm an empath. I take on the energy and the dreams and the beliefs of people around me. And I needed to figure out how I can stay myself and how do I say that? Build that bubble around me to be able to support people around me without taking everything on again.
Yeah.
That's what I had done in that relationship. I took on all of those insecurity, all of the bullshit that he was carrying around and made it my own.
Yeah.
And I needed to learn how I can stay myself, not getting lost in a relationship, not getting lost in somebody else's limiting beliefs, while still be able to support them. And I literally for 2 years just focused on me, focused on my limiting beliefs, focused on my own personal growth. I ended up doing practitioner training and master prac training for NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to get those tools in my belt. That came along with hypnotherapy too. So I didn't just want to fix the issue. I also wanted to learn to have those tools to fix those issues myself, because we are onions. Once you peel off one of those and you solve one of those layers and you become a better person, there's the next layer, there's the next layer, there's the next layer. It's a continuous process and it evolves.
Yeah.
So now, no matter if it's personal or business, I have that ground level, but now I'm going into the next level where it's like on a personal, on that interpersonal relationship that for me happens most in private relationships. I did open myself up now for relationships where I am lucky enough to have found somebody that does trigger me in a good way, where it's like, ooh, something just came up again, without them running away, but rather letting me externally process those situations, giving feedback, and me being able to work on that next layer. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. What were some limiting beliefs that you really had to kind of get over through that process of kind of personal development, NLP? What were some big ones that kind of started to hit you in the chest?
I carry a lot of my dad's limiting beliefs. And I think a lot of us women do if we had a dad in our life. They're the first men in our life. They're the first guy we love, for that matter. So looking throughout my relationships, Pete was that odd one out that doesn't fit, but looking at everybody else, there is certain behaviors that I show of, if somebody is like, oh, nah, I don't have time. They're keeping you at arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
I have the response of wanting to pull them in more and more. And I do the same with clients. I do the same with friends. It's that anxious attachment style where it's like, what the hell are you doing, Evie? What kind of BS is that? Seriously? So right now I'm in one of those phases where I work a lot on my personal relationships, but looking at it and really examining it, it feeds into everything else.
Yeah.
It feeds into my public relationships. It feeds into how I work with my clients, and really understanding that most of our personality initially is shaped up to the age of 7. That's where the people in our life up to the age of 7 they have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And understanding that parents are not perfect. They have no clue what they're doing. There's no handbook to be a parent.
Mm-hmm.
They are acting and reacting out of their own limiting beliefs, out of their own potential personal struggles between them.
Yeah.
And that it has nothing to do with us. Nothing. I look back at a behavior that I'm still working on letting go. I only got attention from my parents when I fucked up. I brought good grades home. Nobody gave a damn. I screwed up. I fought with the boys. I stole their cigarettes at some age. Every time I made trouble, I got attention. every time I was whining, I got attention. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I want life to be easy and smooth.
Yeah.
So realizing that behavior, realizing how I got taught to be that way, because again, kids just want to have attention. I got attention when I was in trouble and I fucked up. We don't want that when we're grown up. Who wants the universe against them? Who wants to fuck up all the time, right?
Yeah.
So realizing that now gives me the perception and realizing now in my everyday, oh, look at grown-up Evie causing bullshit again just so she can get attention. No, we don't do that. Mm-mm. Yeah, there were a couple of interesting realizations in there where you're like, it's completely counterintuitive. When you look at it, just logic, it's completely counterintuitive. Why would you cause trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because your secondary gain is you're getting attention.
Yeah, exactly. Did you come to that realization once you started studying NLP, or when did that come to you?
There was a lot of realizing those main limiting beliefs, those main triggers throughout NLP. Yeah, because you're going, NLP and hypnotherapy does a lot getting past the conscious mind. I saw stuff I was doing. I saw how I was running in circles in certain situations and not moving forward to my goals.
Yeah.
Couldn't poke a hole in it. I had no idea why the hell I was doing what I was doing. I saw myself doing it, but I couldn't poke a hole in it. So going through the training, you also do breakthrough sessions where you literally go past the understanding into your unconscious mind, where you're really reacting fast and answering fast. And suddenly things pop up where it's like, where did that just come from? There's your unconscious mind telling you exactly what the issue is.
Yeah. Very cool. Did you do that in San Diego, that training?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we did. It happened all throughout COVID, so it was all digital, but my NLP coach actually happens to live in San Diego too.
Nice. That's awesome. What would be some advice you would give to females right now who are struggling with moving forward after a passing of their partner? They just continue to stay in the darkness.
That is a heavy one, because grief shows up for so many different people in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. Again, I had the privilege of him coaching me through it from the beginning. Reach out. And reach out before you have a meltdown. When going through grief, I had a lot of people, because I've been so open through this, I have a weird humor with the whole dying thing, and Pete coaching me through it, and us having his celebration of life while he was still alive has made it easy for people that want to support people in grief to reach out to me and are like, hey, this just happened. What can I do? Some of the worst things as somebody that wants to support somebody in grief can do is asking, how can I help you? Don't ever ask somebody grieving that just lost somebody, how can I help you?
Okay.
Imagine a Monday with everything melting down, your dog puking their guts out, and your husband just being passed out. That's the brain capacity a grieving person has. They have no capacity to even try to figure out where you fit into this.
Wow. Okay.
There is trying to, because everybody comes, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? Now they suddenly have 50 people asking, how can I help you? I don't have the brain capacity. I don't even know how I can help myself right now. Don't put that weight on me to figure out how you can feel good about helping me. Being really blunt here. If you want to help somebody, food is always, grieving people usually don't eat something easy to eat, something easy on the stomach, something healthy on the stomach. Cleaning services. Get them a house cleaner. Follow up months later. What happens in periods of this, and this is standard human behavior. It's completely normal. This is how we as humans react. Somebody passes, you know that person is going to have support probably for a month. If they have people that have experienced it themselves, maybe 2 months. And then it just fades away and they're often by themselves. So you go from people reaching out to you, sending you food, your freezer is full, your house is clean, to a month or two later and nobody is around.
Got it.
So that long term, or specifically saying, hey, I know you're struggling right now. How are you on food? Freezer full? Cool, taken care of. Have you taken time to yourself? No? Let me get you a manicure, pedicure. Let me get you into the spa. Let me get you the massage, whatever it is. Let's take care of you. How is your house doing? If you don't know what they need and that's specific and you can't pull from those ideas, ask specific questions. Do you have food right now? Have you taken care of yourself? When have you showered last? It's the first thing that falls off the deep end. How is your house? Can I help clean?
Oh, yeah.
People in that situation do not have the brain power. And for people grieving, let your circles know. Let them know, hey, if I go quiet for 3 days, reach out to me. I need you to proactively reach out to me. Because chances are there's going to be moments where you curl up in a ball, you hide in the corner, and you are not reaching out to ask for help.
Yeah.
Most of us don't do that. When we go into the circle, we don't reach out. We don't grab the damn phone and be like, I need help.
You're right.
When we are in that, most of us, at least I did, I felt like I'm in it all by myself. We are not.
Yeah.
That's hormones going crazy. That's our brain going crazy. That's grief.
Yeah.
So prepare for that beforehand and give your circle of friends specific instructions of, hey, this is going to be a roller coaster. It just is. It's what it is. I still have moments where I suddenly burst out into tears because I hear a certain song or I smell something specific. And it's been now, what, nearly 10 years now? Yeah, 2024 is coming up, nearly 10 years.
Wow.
It's going to go through waves. It's going to get better. It's going to get less. It's never going to be gone. So prep your friends of, if I haven't messaged you in 3 days, check in on me. Just stand in front of the door. Something.
Did you and your husband work on, have a business together? Or was it always you working as an entrepreneur?
Yes and no. So Ask Evie initially started out as social media manager to support his clients. So he did video production, feature-length films, TV commercials, all this kind of stuff. And with him having those clients, the need arose for social media. And I realized really fast, I am not a social media manager. Not happening. Then realized the technology behind it, the setting up, the running things, the making things efficient. The efficient piece I realized later on. That's where I'm great. So I started moving behind the scenes with web design and that kind of thing. So yes, we worked with each other, even though we had our own businesses. So it's a yes and no answer. And then when he passed away and I pretty much had both of our businesses, I was looking at everything and I'm like, okay, how does this all fit? And that's when I realized that people came to me for web design and left with full-on business coaching. And I'm like, okay, we need to do something about this. And that's when Ask Evie started to become what it is now.
That's awesome. Very cool. Can you tell us, there's quite a few people listening live right now. Obviously, they're resonating with you and your personality, and they have an idea of what you do. But, what exactly is askevie.com? What can they find there? Who should be reaching out to you? What exactly do you do?
So Ask Evie is business efficiency consulting. what that means is, I just got a really great testimonial that actually explains it. So what I did with that specific client is we optimized their processes. So think of all the things you do every single day, right? And it starts as simple as, what do I need to do next? How? What? Huh? Did I do that? Did I send that to the client? Did that go out? Those processes right there. We start with really cleaning up processes, meaning even as a solopreneur, I often get to hear, yeah, but it's just me. I know what to do. I'm like, yeah, you know how many websites I built, and you know how much time I wasted. Did I do the SEO optimization on that? Is that site done? Did that client approve that site? Do we have to check something? Where in the process am I? So even as a solopreneur, we waste so much brain power and therefore so much time on figuring out what the hell we actually need to do and what we have gotten done. That's where that process optimization comes in. Now, past that, we take that even further. I love ClickUp. ClickUp is my task management of choice, where we take those processes and we turn them into repeatable processes. Our brain, who of us even thinks about starting the car, putting on our seatbelt, or brushing teeth? It all happens on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
Repeatable processes in your business does that for you in your business. It runs on autopilot. You don't even have to think about it. You open up your calendar in the morning and it's like, hey, Evie, you need to do this, 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 and that. That's where I love ClickUp. Now, when you are scaling a business and when you are growing a business, there is more that comes in with this, meaning automating certain processes. Also, as a solopreneur, why do we want to waste time on admin stuff? I literally just helped the client save 40% of their time spent on this whole nitty-gritty admin work that doesn't make you any money.
Yeah.
They didn't have to grow their team, and their team is not on the verge of burnout right now. I'm like, this is what we're talking about. I'm like, yes, mission accomplished. And then taking that to an even further level, meaning with bigger companies, we also help the team be more efficient. What I mean by that is, for example, value alignment. That's where NLP comes in. Our business is just as efficient as our team is. Now, if our team is struggling because I really don't, I like what I do, but it doesn't energize me. I just do it to do it. That means that team member is not going to be the best they can be because they're also not the happiest they can be.
Yeah.
So how can we align team members' values with the company values and goals and aligning that human aspect of work? I help CEOs do the same thing of that value alignment of what really triggers you. On a positive side, triggers don't always have to be negative. They can be positive too. How are you motivating yourself? What is that thing that triggers you to finally take action? Call out to all our procrastinators, me included, of why are we procrastinating? Why aren't we doing this thing? Why are we waiting till last second to get it done? We can drill down on what actually motivates you. What is that trigger in you that makes you finally take action? And align those accordingly. So the long story is, I save you a shit ton of time and therefore making more profit. We do that through multiple different avenues of processes, programs, aka tools, and people.
I love it. The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps. That's how we make a business run efficient. A lot of people always, if you look out there and you look at the content that's out there, a lot of people are either way just focusing on the processes, or they're just focusing on the tools, or they're just focusing on the people. Now, if you look at my YouTube channel, you will see how I talk about it, not just of this is how this tool can save you time. No, this is how you also need to think about it so that you have the knowledge of being able to recognize in the future of, ooh, look at that. That process is not running the smoothest because this is happening. Yeah. So I always try in all of my content to really cover those 3 Ps that my audience and my community knows exactly how, what, why, and when.
Beautiful. That's great. What are your big dreams for your business? Where are you going?
That's a loaded question because I'm in the middle of building all of that. I am working right now on turning everything I have done with one-on-one clients and the framework I have developed and seeing those patterns that have been happening for my clients into a group coaching program. So the pilot offer is actually going to be a 3-month program, but the big audacious goal is turning this into a full-on 12-month program that doesn't just cover the processes, that also covers the people, and that also covers all of the different programs we are using, and building this as a business school. Now, the add-on to this is, because I do want to give back to the community, is adding a nonprofit to that will allow, first of all, to give grants to women that are in a situation that they want to get out of, that they feel stuck in. Yeah. Heck, now I'm dreaming really big. Even having living facilities for women that are potentially physically in a situation that they need to get out of, with childcare taken care of, because those are those issues that we women often run into in different levels, where we want to do something and we are doing the little things to get out of a situation, but we still don't have that freedom of choice. Yeah. I want to build a community and a support system that helps women build that freedom of choice, giving them the education to build businesses that are successful, that are making a profit, so that they have the income to have that freedom of choice, in way, again, of education, of support, of grants, as well as having at some point living facilities to be able to physically get them out of a situation they want to get out of.
Beautiful. Powerful. I love it.
I think that's the first time I publicly painted that whole picture. I have done behind the scenes. I have done with friends. I don't think I have shared that whole picture.
Well, it's real now. We're manifesting.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
I love it. I love the energy behind it too. Listen, those of you watching live, thank you for being here. Those of you watching on the replay, thank you for being here. Evie, how can people find you? Where do you hang out at on social media? Where can people connect with you?
I am the lucky one where it's literally everything is Ask Evie. I was able to get all of those usernames. The easiest one, literally just go to the website. Everything is linked there.
Yeah.
My behind the scenes, my home base right now, if you want to look behind the curtain, is Instagram. My Instagram stories, I share all the crazy hair when I'm getting ready in the morning or when I'm partying with the girls. And then for anybody that is using ClickUp and is like, Evie, I'm done getting crappy advice, I do have a Facebook group, ClickUp, for coaches, consultants, and content creators that I'm bringing back up again and get really active in.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your dreams. Very inspirational. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
I would say one step at a time. Perfect. All that matters is just keep going one step at a time. Don't get caught up in the, oh, I didn't. That's behind you. Yes. Keep moving.
Yes. Keep it moving. Thank you so much, Evie. For those of you here that resonated with Evie and all the goodness that she shared today, make sure you connect with her. Instagram is where she has all the behind the scenes. And then her website is right above her head area. And there's more than likely a description, a clickable link where you can click and check out her website and all the goodness that she's bringing to the world. Thank you so much for joining us here on this version of Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share, check us out at hernation.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire